podcasting from the sunny state of California where Hollywood and superstars shine. Hey, and welcome to Perfectly Normal, where I talk about all life's up and down and what appears to be weird and wacky can actually turn out to be quite normal. And I'm your host, Michelle. I'm a life coach, author, artist, and pharmacist, the founder of Elevate Life Coaching. It's a seminar and coaching company. Let's get right to the show. Hi, everyone. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I took 2 days off because I'm still recovering from this cold I've been having to deal with for the last 2 weeks now, and it somehow is just not going away. Earlier today, I was at my hospital job, and I was grabbing breakfast in the cafeteria. So I was having breakfast, and I ran into a friend of mine. So we sat down, and we were talking naturally because it's Monday. So we spoke about weekends. And he said that he recently got a new refrigerator, so then over the weekend he had to rent a truck to move it. So he got the refrigerator to his house, and then his house actually had a little ramp that go upwards to where the garage was. So he parked the car, unloaded the fridge, and he had one of those pulley to move the refrigerator with. So him and his kids, they were just helping out each other, and he was basically the only adult moving that refrigerator. So he got up to the ramp, going to the house, and suddenly he said that, he lost control and the pulley was actually pulling him forward. And so what he ended up doing was he fell, and the refrigerator fell right on top of him. Ouch, right? That's what I said. So I asked him, Raymond, why didn't you ask somebody to help you? And then, so he went on saying, well, Michelle, I thought I was strong enough, but I guess I'm not strong enough anymore. And I'm just not strong. So at this point, we were in the elevator already. And then at this point, I would start laughing. I'm like, Raymond, if you had learned anything at all from me, it should be that, you should be recognizing how quickly it is for us to judge ourselves. Maybe you are strong, and why are you telling yourself that you are not strong just because a refrigerator fell on you? Well, how about the refrigerator itself is just way too heavy to be handled by one person? How about it's not you? It's just what happened? And so then he started laughing. He's like, yeah, I guess you're right, And then, but as he exit out to the elevator, he turned around and he still said, well, yeah, but I still don't think I'm strong enough like I used to be. Well, does that happen to you sometimes? Where you fail or somehow you used to be doing things, but you can't anymore. So you turn around and you start to look at or judging yourself based on your performance, rather than looking at it as a natural process. We age, and there comes to a point where perhaps you can no longer lift 256 pounds, or perhaps, moving a refrigerator by yourself is just way too much that you can imagine. So it really has nothing to do with you, but the fact that, as we age or as the natural process occurs, sometimes you just need a little help. And that's all there is to it. It's not about you. It's just basically what happened. It's a cycle of change. Which brings me to the next story I wanted to share, because I know, right? So I'm working in a hospital in just one day, and within the 2 hours, going into the elevator, exiting the elevator, I encounter so many different aspects of our life that I wanted to share with you. So come along, this lady who works in radiology has a very heavy machine, a heavy x-ray machine that she was pushing. So she pushed it in, and there was 3 of us in the elevator along with this big machine. So the elevator got to the 3rd floor, and the door opened. And there's someone else waiting outside in the elevator, waiting to get in. But obviously, the machine took a lot of space. So immediately, as the door opened, the woman starts saying, "Oh, I'm sorry." So the door closed, and I turned around and I said, "What were you sorry about?" She said, "I don't know. I think I said sorry a lot to a lot of people." I said, "Right. So let me ask you again, what were you sorry about for taking up space? And she realized that, yeah, why was I sorry about my machine being in there? It's not, I didn't intentionally push it in there. I needed a ride to go back to my department. So it's a natural thing. You aren't taking up any space because intentionally that you were there to block people. You were there because you needed to go somewhere, and there's nothing about you that you need to be sorry about. So why apologize for your own existence, or why apologize for occupying space? You should be proud of your taking up space. You don't have to apologize. So that's something that I wanted to share today, and I hope that you can perhaps think about how quickly you are turning around and judging yourself whenever something happens, and you internalize it as it's my fault, or this has happened because I did this. Well, what if something just happened? It just is. And speaking of just is, so I've been going around, and when people ask me, what's up with you, Michelle? How's it going? And I've been kind of like updating them in terms of what I've been doing, what I've been, busy doing with. And so I share the fact that, I just recently published my book. So I've been observing how people react to when I say, hey, I just published a book. I'm going in there, I'm like all excited, and I'm holding out my book. I'm saying, hey, guess what? I just published my book. And I was all happy, all acting up. And so I've been observing couple of reactions that when I tell people, say, I publish a book and that I am an author. There's a number of different reactions, and some people would say, wow, that's cool. Where can I get a copy? They're all excited, they're exciting with me, and they're happy, they're sharing their joy. And I feel happy too. I feel like, oh, I really accomplished something, didn't I? And then there's other individual where, I said, oh, I published a book and I'm an author. And they was like, oh, wow, that's cool. And then they change the subject. I'm like, what's up with that? I just published a book. So there's other reaction where they're just going, wow, that's cool. And that was it. I'm waiting for a response, but there wasn't any. And I'm thinking, how interesting to watch all of these happen, which sometimes I get that a lot when I tell people that, so they ask me, so Michelle, what do you do? I tell them, I'm a life coach. Oh, what's that? What do you do? Are you a therapist? Well, this is what I said. I said, well, no, I'm not a therapist. I work with clients to help them move forward in life while they're going through some major life changes. Oh, that's so cool. So are you a therapist? No, I'm not a therapist. I don't focus on clients' past, and I'm not trying to fix them. But we do talk about the past sometimes to understand why you feel certain things the way that you feel now. And the reaction is, oh, I see. So are you a therapist? I'm like, okay. So it's always interesting to hear and listen to, people when I tell them certain things. And sometimes there's no right or wrong, it's just how people react. And sometimes they need to have some time to process it and to really understand, what they're listening. And sometimes people just not listening. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just very interesting to observe their reaction, and I find it very entertaining to be sharing these reaction with you sometimes. And even with myself, I find myself where I'm standing there and I'm really judging someone else, and in terms of their reaction, in terms of their behavior, in terms of like the little things that they do. And when I catch myself judging them or thinking that their way of doing things is, it's not within my norm, I go down to the route of, I wonder what that person is all about. For example, the other day I was at a grocery shop, and actually it's not a grocery shop. It was more of a Dollar Tree store, where everything is $1. So I was there. I was picking up my, notebook. I keep these journals with me where I can write down quick notes, or sometimes I even write down like little stories for myself as a reminder. So there was this guy standing in the line in front of me, and with full car full of grocery from a Dollar Tree store. So he had milk, he had bread, he had some ice cream, and like any grocery that you can think of that you get from a supermarket, he basically had it in the basket. So I waited behind him, and he had, the grocery, and the cashier was ringing him up. And I noticed that as the total came out, it was like $18.10. I mean, wow, why didn't I think about that before? I mean, food is food, no matter where you get it. They carry like big brand food. Yeah, sure, perhaps you wanted to check the expiration date, but they're still food, and they're good food. So what goes into your mind when you see people shopping at Dollar Tree? Like, are you judging them like I did? Are you putting some labels on them unconsciously and thinking that or questioning their behavior? So I caught myself doing that, and it was something that we all do on a daily basis that we don't even notice it. And so the next time that you catch yourself doing such, like having some judgment around yourself or with others, perhaps you might want to pick up a judgment journal too from the Dollar Tree store and start writing a couple of the judgment that you have throughout the day, and look at the pattern of how quickly you judge yourself and also judging others. Perhaps it'll give you some insights in terms of what you can do to change your perspectives. So I will see you next time. Hey, thanks for listening to Perfectly Normal. If you like my show and want to know more, please check out my website at elevatelifecoaching.org and leave me a comment. Join me next week as we talk about another real life struggle and how we can overcome it. So until then, have a great day.